I'm Pythagoras, and although I'm known for proving the Pythagorean theorem, that's not what I should be most known for, as I did not discover it. But some things to know about me is that I was a philosopher, a diplomat, a musician, and some even say a murderer. But you also can't forget my huge fear of beans. And this is my story. So I was born in Samos, Greece in 570 BC to two rich parents named Menesarchus and Pythaeus. I spent most of my childhood in Samos. But as I grew older, I accompanied my father on his trading trips. In 535 BC, I left for Egypt to study under the temple priest. I lived in Egypt for around 10 years. However, in 525 BC, the emperor of Persia conquered Egypt and I was captured and taken as a prisoner to Babylon. I associated myself to the Persian priest known as Magi and began to study mathematics and mathematical sciences. In 522 BC, the emperor died and I was given the opportunity to return to Samos. On my return to Samos, I opened a school called the Semicircle. In 518 BC, I shifted my teachings to Crotone in southern Italy and first started teaching in full scale. That is where I met my wife, Fiona, and we had a son and 3 daughters. In my teachings, I gathered a band of followers, both men and women, which developed into a religious and philosophical school, basically a cult. My followers were called Pythagoreans, and they were divided into 2 sects. Those who lived and worked in the school were known as mathematicoi. Others who lived outside the school were known as acousmatics. I was the master of both of these sects. The mathematicoi had to live their lives according to rules. They had no personal possession and followed a strict vegetarian diet. Contrarily, the acousmatics were allowed personal items and to eat meat. And we were only made up of mathematicians. I also had many beliefs. Number is the ruler of forms and ideas, and the cause of gods and demons. Every man has been made by God in order to acquire knowledge and contemplate. Geometry is knowledge of the eternally existent. Number is the within of all things. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. Time is the soul of this world. I practiced a kind of number worship and considered each number to have its own character and meaning. For example, the number 1 was the generator of all numbers. 2 represented opinion. 3 represented harmony. 4 justice. 5 marriage. 6 represented creation. 7 the 7 planets. And so on. Odd numbers were thought of as a female, and even numbers as male. However, the holiest number of all was 10, a triangular number composed of the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4. I was largely responsible for introducing as more rigorous mathematics than what had gone before. I discovered that a complete system of mathematics could be constructed where geometric elements corresponded with numbers, and where integers and their ratios were all that was necessary to establish an entire system of logic and truth. I also established the foundations of number theory. I discovered several new properties of square numbers. For example, the square of a number n is equal to the sum of the first n odd numbers. However, I'm most famous for my concept of geometry. I believed that the square of the legs of a right triangle had the same area as the square of a hypotenuse, forming the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Yet non-integer solutions were also possible. For example, an isosceles triangle with sides 1, 1, 2 also has a right angle. One of my students named Hippasus tried to calculate the value of square root of 2, and thereby indicated the potential existence of a whole new world of numbers, the irrational number. This discovery shattered the elegant mathematical world built up by my followers and I, jeopardizing my cult's entire belief system. Well, now you know a little bit about me, and so now it's also time you learned how I died. Although my death is a mystery, I supposedly starved myself to death after one of the many mobs set my school on fire. At least my math will stick with you forever. Bye-bye.